Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we are going to probably snark our butts off because my goodness, this guy who I've covered this case before, Samuel Hochstetler, an Amish boy who confessed to murdering an Amish lady who was just making soap out of goat's milk and making cheese and just living her life. And he's accused of SAing her and strangling her, murdering her. And he confessed, and now he wants his confession tossed out? I don't think so, dude. And you know why he wants his confession tossed out? Because he says he thought that, when he confessed, the judge would be nice, like forgive him and just send him home. And I'm like, oh, you're going to learn today. You are learning a hard lesson, sir. His trial date has been set for December 8th. Of 2025. At this point, we shall see what happens after the final pre-trial hearings. But this recent hearing, oh my goodness, it just really made me so mad. It made me so mad that I'm like, let's be mad at it together. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, in case you didn't see part 1, is do a little recap. But part 1 is linked in the description box below if you wouldn't mind going to watch it, as part of your homework, which also helps support the channel. Watching any replays really helps support my channel. Please also like and share, and remember to engage. Comment, don't just lurk. Come and say hi. It's always nice when lurkers, that's if you're just watching, you never chat, come out and say hi. It's really nice. So thank you so much all for being here. Thank you, mods. And are we ready? All right, so this guy, Samuel Hochstetler, an 18-year-old Amish man from Rutland, Ohio, faces multiple felony charges in connection with the March 12, 2025 death, aka murder, of his 28-year-old neighbor, Rosanna Kinsinger, who was found dead in her trailer home in Pomeroy under suspicious circumstances. Now, due to Amish customs, which often discourage photography, no public images of Rosanna Kinsinger are available, respecting the community's preference for privacy. So, I like to put a picture of the victim normally up there so that we can always see who the case is about and remind everyone what the case is about, that it's justice for example, Rosanna. But in this case, unfortunately, we do not have a picture of the victim. So yeah, we just can look at him and snark at him a lot. So who is innocent till proven guilty in a court of law? We could still snark. Rosanna Kinsinger was a 28-year-old woman from Pomeroy, Ohio. She was a member of a close-knit Amish community in Meigs County, a 30 person community. Tiny community. Close-knit, okay? She lived on Dye Road in Rutland Township, Meigs County, a rural area of about 1 hour 45 south of Columbus, Ohio, near the West Virginia border. The Amish are a Christian group known for their plain clothing, simple lifestyles, reliance on farming, and limited use of modern technology. Her father, Moses Kinsinger, described her as outgoing, friendly, and said she liked being around people. Rosanna made soap and products from goat's milk and aspired to become a teacher. So, 28 years old, she had her whole life ahead of her. And she was just living peacefully, just doing her thing, right? Everyone became worried about her when they realized that they had not seen her all day. Now, remember her dad's name is Moses. There's this other guy called Mose, so don't confuse the two. Mose Troyer, a guy who lived like he was a neighbor of Rosanna, kind of like across the road, who hosted Samuel Hochstetler, found her body on March 13th of 2025, because everyone was worried. They're like, where's Rosanna? We haven't heard from her today. Let me go check on her. Mose goes to check on her and finds her dead body in her trailer, and her pet goat was also there in the trailer. So, a preliminary autopsy from the Montgomery County Coroner's office came back as inconclusive. Samuel Hochstetler had traveled to stay in the Amish community from another Amish community in the fall of 2024. So he inserts himself into this tiny, wonderful community of 30 people And that was in the fall of 2024. And you're telling me by March of 2025, he is allegedly sexually assaulting and strangling a lady? What? You see, that just makes me so mad. After Rosanna was discovered dead in her home, Samuel continued to live with Meigs. The community was shocked at what had happened to Rosanna. Of course, that doesn't happen there, right? After weeks of tips, leads, and search warrants, deputies detained Hochstetler for questioning. And here's where he thought, okay, I'll just tell them everything, and I'm an innocent boy. I have no idea what I'm even doing or saying, so I'll just confess and they'll let me go home, right? Yeah, I don't think so. Mimir Janice said, hello Grizzlies, I'm so excited to finally be in a live from the start. Let me just get this going on the screen. Hold on 1 second. Let's try that again. Okay, let's click on something. There we go. Janice, thank you so much for your sticker. Miranda A said, legal strategy all the way. And you said, if anyone understands thou shalt not kill, it's this community. Right? Never mind all the other things he's accused of doing. My goodness, but yeah. So his confession to the police included specifics like using a blanket for strangulation. Okay, and claiming the sex, which he calls breeding, was consensual. Bruh, you one-upping Koberger over here. Koberger was like, nice birthing hips. This guy is like, while I was breeding her. What? You did what now? So he just told police everything. Now his defense attorney wants that confession retracted. However, prosecutors have referenced autopsy evidence. They say that, remember the preliminary autopsy was inconclusive? Well, the completed one has not been made public. However, prosecutors are referencing autopsy evidence, including bruising and other injuries that contradict Samuel Hochstetler's confession of consensual activity and indicates that force was used during the alleged sexual encounter. He was charged with, I'm just going to say SA for YouTube, RAPE, as you can see there, the official charge, and strangulation. And murder. So aggravated murder, and all those others. He reportedly provided hunting numbers. You'll hear him say it. We're going to watch some of the court footage from his preliminary hearing. Okay, he provided hunting numbers, Amish alternative to IDs, and thought that confessing would lead to quick forgiveness by the judge, influenced by Amish values of repentance. On May 5th of 2025, Samuel Hochstetler was arrested, and it was at that point that we covered part 1 of the case, because he was arrested and we were waiting to see what exactly he's going to be charged with, and now we know it's quite a lot, right? Okay. Now, this guy, just remember, he's 18 years old. The woman that he's accused of murdering and essaying was 28 years old. And he had gone from one Amish community to another, which someone had emailed me after part 1 and said that's common when, let's say, if it's a very close-knit Amish community, lots of family members, and then you would set out, okay, you would head out, spread your wings to go and find a wife. Okay, but then do that. Don't essay someone and murder them. Like, dude, within months, okay, allegedly. Okay, so he's being held at a jail in Noble County, even though he's anything but noble. Okay, sorry, the snark is starting. He was previously held in Gallia County, but it's rumored that Meigs County did not have sufficient facilities. On May 13th of 2025, he waived preliminary hearing. The case was bound over to the grand jury. This hearing was actually a motions hearing. Okay, so on May 22nd, he was indicted on aggravated murder charges with prior calculation, premeditation, 2 counts of murder, purposeful and felony, SA with force, kidnapping with sexual motivation, and felonious assault, strangulation. Additional specifications were sexual motivation and sexually violent predator status, which could mandate life without parole if convicted. Like, holy crap, that's a lot of charges. And he just thought, oh, the judge is not going to treat me the Amish way? Just kind of like I could just dust myself off and walk away? No. May 22nd, he was indicted on those charges that we went. Additionally, we already went over that. He pleaded not guilty to all counts. Me repeating myself. Probably because I'm so shocked by the charges. Look at that. The defense's argument about why his confession should be suppressed would be a language barrier. Samuel Hochstetler primarily speaks Pennsylvania Dutch. He said English is his secondary and language, and formal education has been limited. Amish schooling ends around the 8th grade. I am calling this guy's bluff. I think he's lying a lot. right? I do think that he speaks Pennsylvania Dutch, but I think he's playing dumb. We'll watch the court hearing together. Giovanna says, oh dear, I just realized my badge changed 2 years. Is that so? Did it change to 2 years? Happy Grizzly-versary. You said always a proud Grizzly. Thank you so much. So they don't want the confession in because of a language barrier. Meanwhile, this guy shared the most horrific details with the police. So he says he didn't understand Miranda rights until other inmates explained them post-arrest. No interpreter was provided and he felt coerced without grasping waiver implications. Detective Sergeant Jason Dyer testified that he believed that Hochstetler understood his rights, noting that the defendant asked clarifying questions and seemed to comprehend the proceedings. Dyer said that Hochstetler appeared relieved after confessing and that his demeanor suggested that he wanted to tell the truth. Oh my word. But now he wants to take it back. He's like, wait, there could be consequences for this? No way. Could I take it back? Like what? Oh my goodness. Let me just quickly, I just want to go motions. I just want to change the title of my video that I'm going to show you in a moment. Okay, the prosecutor, James Stanley, pointed to Samuel's ability to ask questions and engage in detailed conversations as evidence of his comprehension, noting that the defendant was able to articulate his thoughts and participate in complex discussions about Amish dating practices and religious beliefs. We're going to see him take the stand at this motions hearing. That's what we're about to watch. I'm just getting you guys ready for that so that you understand this case in case you didn't see part 1, right? Now, Judge Michael Barr will make a ruling on this motion to suppress this confession by October 22nd of 2025. When we blink, it'll be time, right? So we must keep our eye on it. Also, please do remind me. I like to write things down, but sometimes I forget. Like meaning sometimes I forget something's happening on a day. And I'm always grateful when you guys remind me, hey, this one's got a hearing today, or what happened to that one? And then I can go and dig and find and see. Now, October 22nd is when he'll have his pretrial hearing at 11 a.m. Then they've set a date for November 25th for a final pretrial hearing, 11 a.m. And then December 8th, he's got a jury trial date set. Oh, we have a trial date now? So since we talked about this in part 1, not only do we see everything that he's been charged with, and it's all the worst things that we thought. Oh my word, he's been charged with that. He could face, we're going to go over that now, but he's also got a trial date? Damn. Okay, so he faces life in prison if convicted on the aggravated murder charge, life with the possibility of parole if convicted on the 2 murder counts, because he's charged with aggravated murder and 2 counts of murder, and also the RAPE, so he faces 11 years plus fines if convicted on that, another 11 years plus fines if convicted on the kidnapping charge, and 8 years plus fines on the strangulation charge. I find it weird that they charged him with the strangulation. It's from everything I'm reading, and I'm like, really? Isn't that like the same as, aggravated murder and murder? But okay, do that, all of it. Tick all the boxes so that they can make sure he, if he is guilty, if convicted, that he gets the maximum, right? Stand by. Okay, here we go. So let's bring up the hearing. Well, the clips of the hearing. Where is it now? So I've got so many things open here. Okay, here we go. Samuel Hochstetler motions hearing. This hearing, as you just heard, was to discuss the defense motion to suppress his confession. And he will take the stand. So the first part of this is a 48-minute video that I've made. This is from Court TV. Now I've linked their feed or their footage in the description box for you, where Ted Rowlands and Julia Janae made lots of commentary in between and all of that. So if you want to see the full footage, it's linked below. So what I've done here is made sure that we look at him. We zoom in on him, okay? We are listening to every word that he is saying as he's trying to, I have no better words to describe it, play dumb. Just be like, I had no idea. Now, can you imagine if the judge actually rules in favor of the defense? It is a possibility. Of course, this is a motion. The judge will have to look at it carefully and make a ruling. If they throw out this confession, that is a big deal in this case, right? Of course, now, with the not made public final autopsy showing signs of strangulation and sexual assault, all of that, that is also evidence against him. But I mean, the confession Yeah, the confession is definitely important, I think. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready to watch this with me? Let's put myself over here. Let's try to make it full screen for you as well. How about that? Okay, here we go.
And the waiver of his rights, and witnesses or observed him signing or placing his name on that waiver of rights, did you have any concerns that he did not understand what his rights were?
I did not.
Did you believe that he wanted to give you a statement?
I did.
Continue playing mode.
I usually ask him all good, and you said that you didn't feel good when it happened. Yeah. Can you explain this to me that?
Okay, so what they're playing now is the police interview of Samuel Hochstetler, who's 18 years old, of course, accused of murdering Rosanna. And so you could see some of the subtitles that Court TV put up. I've also got my own throughout the video later. And so we can hear what he told police. And then he's going to take the stand, and then we can hear what he tells everybody on the stand at that point.
I guess in the past I've lost about 6 which it happened down pretty bad.
Yes.
And not to use that as an excuse to do something like that. And when I did it, I wasn't going to go as far as I did.
Okay. And what is it that you did?
I was actually doing it. Yeah.
Tell me.
Doing what I did.
You did what?
Did to
I need you to tell me. That's the only way you can be forgiven through there.
well, one actually finished her on Rosanna.
You killed Rosanna?
Yeah.
Okay. Explain to me how you did it.
Yeah. I actually not like cover sheet, or you know that is like what you use when it's cold to cover up in the bed.
Yes.
I laid it over like right over there.
Why'd you do that?
I guess I wasn't feeling the way I should have.
But what was the motivation behind it?
What made you want to do it? What made me want to do it? I guess that I wasn't in my right mind. I didn't know that.
Okay.
To me, it sounds like he speaks great English. He says he wasn't in his right mind. We've heard people say that before. He's looking really bored in court as they're playing this. Dude, I would sit up if I were you. It's pretty important. You're saying some very damning things to the police that they are now playing as public record. Oh my goodness. So saying that he covered the victim's head with a blanket, basically he said cover a sheet, but it's like a blanket. He wasn't in the right state of mind. He didn't think it would go that far. Oh my, this is terrible. I feel so sorry for the victim. Stefan said, I don't see a lot of remorse in that chair. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either, right? Oh my goodness.
All right. I mean, now looking back, yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it again. But, I mean, did you attempt to breed? Was it ever breeding? Was it ever breeding? Like,
Were you a breeder? Were you trying to breed her?
well, basically, yeah, something like that.
Did it happen?
Okay, again, if you don't want commentary, well, I can't promise that. There's commentary on Court TV as well in between. I'm making that's what we're here for, right? To comment on this together. Oh my goodness. Him being like, while I was breeding her, just stop it.
At night?
Yeah.
Okay. Between, what time do you remember that?
Well, I don't know didn't look at what time it was or anything, but it was in the evening.
Okay.
Was it dark out? Yeah. Okay. Everybody else kind of went to bed? Yeah.
And then you sneak out of Moses' house?
Yeah.
Okay. Does Moses know about this?
I don't know anything.
Is there anybody in the Amish community know that you killed her?
Not that I know.
Okay. Okay. So,
How did it kind of play out? Did Rosanna invite you over, or did you just kind of,
No, she hadn't.
you just kind of went in and,
When I knocked on the door, she welcomed me and
did you guys have a secret relationship?
like,
Where you got secretly?
boyfriend or girlfriend?
No,
No. Okay. Was this something that you forced upon her?
like,
Did she tell you no? No. Okay.
she was just silent.
Okay. Have you done this to anybody else? Okay. I want you to know I do appreciate you being honest and upfront. I think it's.
I really
Of course the police appreciate that. We really appreciate you telling us everything. He's like, okay, let me say it all. And now the defense attorney is like, oh crap. Dude, what were you saying? And now this defense attorney has to work hard. The judge's name is Michael Barr. The defense is Kirk McVeigh, prosecutor James Stanley, and there's also the detective Sergeant Jason Dyer. So the defense, Kirk McVeigh, he's working hard out here trying to be like, oh man, he's only 18. He speaks Pennsylvania Dutch. He didn't understand what he was saying. I mean, it's his best shot as a defense attorney to try to get that confession out, right?
Yeah, I did not lie the first time.
Yes, but we can get through that. That's the only way that God's going to forgive you. And I can promise you that being upfront and honest with it is a lot better than holding it in and us having to come find you later down the road. You know what I mean?
Okay, so at this point, and even a few minutes earlier, when you started to read him his Miranda rights again, had his custodial status changed at that time?
It had not.
He was not in custody?
He was not.
He was not under arrest?
He was not. And what was your reasoning behind that?
Well, I mean, yeah, I wasn't normal that day.
I understand.
Basically.
I know that you understand sex, the word sex,
I don't.
but you said breeding, right?
Yes.
Which was when you would impregnate,
Yeah,
means.
I think I do anyway. Like,
And I would assume your goal would be not to impregnate her. Was that your goal? So when you were attempting to, we'll call it breeding.
yes.
In the English terms, if you know what rape means.
Yeah.
So if she would be unwilling
Yes.
to breed and you forced the breeding upon her, that would be rape. In our world.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So was she unwilling to?
She didn't say anything, didn't tear away or anything like that.
Okay. But you said, what did you suffocated her, correct?
Basically, that's what I think it was, yeah.
Okay. And what?
Oh my word. You suffocated her, right? Well, that's what I think it was. Do you know what sex is? No. Breeding though? Were you trying to do that? Yes. I don't know, man. I just don't believe that he doesn't know any of this. I think he's really leaning into, like, what, I'm Amish. I don't understand any of this. They understand? What do you mean? Like this guy. I think he's insulting all the Amish, right? Oh, wait. LL said Dutch is actually Deutsch. Early English settlers had trouble saying Deutsch, so they shortened it into Dutch. Most Amish speak a form of German, not Dutch. Yeah, they call it Pennsylvania Dutch, but Deutsch, so it's closer to German. Okay, very interesting. I'm learning German. Thank you so much, LL, for your sticker. Okay, so let's keep going there.
There was done when I realized it actually happened. I didn't. If I'd been in my right mind, I'd thought that, but I didn't think of it at the time when I did, that's what could happen.
Okay. And what did you use to suffocate her with? You said like a sheet.
It's I call it a blanket, but I'm not sure is that what you call it or not.
Okay. A blanket. Yeah.
Like a cover.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And was that a blanket that was on her bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, the other thing is they said, the prosecutor said that the autopsy results show otherwise, that there was bruising and evidence that the victim was not just quiet. He said that she was just quiet. There's other reports, local news, articles saying that he's claiming that she was just silent. She just like lay on the bed and closed her eyes. She was just quiet, just whatever. No, she fought back. And he covered her head with a blanket, which would also silence her, right? Which is really scary. So him being like, oh yeah, just put a blanket over her head. Didn't think it would go that far. Really? Okay.
So what he's going to do is he's going to collect a swab, which would be your DNA, the inside of your mouth. He's going to take, you know what a Q-tip is?
Yeah.
It's basically just a one. Probably do 6 times on one side, 6 times on the other, and then he's going to place it in that bag. And that's what's going to help us compare the DNA together. And that will help us tremendously. You said that happened that night. So, what time did Ian find her? Moses found her? Okay, and that was the evening after?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because it was I think it was a day. Pretty sure it was that next evening.
But even that, how he's describing how Mose found her the next evening. He's like, oh yeah, no, I think it was the next evening. Okay, but you just went back to the house where you were being hosted, probably had dinner, went to bed, next morning, I don't know, did a full day of work. Who knows what he was doing? And you just made as if nothing happened? By the sounds of it. Because no one knew what had happened. He was just carrying on with his day. And the next day, everyone was like, wait, where's Rosanna? Let's go check on her. And Mose went to check on her and found her dead in her trailer. Wow.
Okay. So just to confirm, you snuck out of Moses' house and then went over to the Rosanna's trailer. And then you knocked on the door and she let you in. And did you go straight to the bedroom?
Yes.
And then you guys began the breeding process, and then you suffocated her with the blanket. So yes. And then did you know she was dead before you left the trailer?
Yes.
You did? Okay. So she wasn't breathing at that time, correct?
All right, you said.
She wasn't alive.
Oh,
No. And haven't you told anybody else this?
What did you do after? We'll just go back to Moses.
First, when I noticed that I went out and I just couldn't barely walk anymore. When I noticed that's what happened. I went out behind the greenhouses. I just went on my knees to pray. And then I think it was like, don't know exactly what time it was, but it didn't seem like it was long, so it was time to get back up and go to work next morning.
Yeah. And then you just went to work the next morning?
Yeah.
Did you go back to sleep that night? And that was just I think we talked about like, the reasoning behind it. Was that just something you wanted to do, or was that? Or I mean, was that something like to go over there? Was that something normal for you to do to go over to her trailer?
No. Okay.
You know what intent means? Yeah, intentions. You know your intentions.
Like
when you showed up there at Rosanna's house, was your plan is like your plan? Was your plan to breed her?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. And then
Shame. These poor police officers that have to use his words. Was your plan to breed her? He says basically, yeah. That's premeditated. Premeditated SA. And then she ended up murdered. So, yeah, no wonder he's facing these charges, right? Okay.
She died in the process of you breeding her.
Yeah.
Okay. And did we clear up that that was something that did she know that was going to happen?
I said, yeah.
She did know it was going to happen?
Yeah.
And did she was okay with it?
She didn't say anything.
Okay.
She actually laid herself down on the bed.
Okay. So, your intention when you showed up was to breed, correct?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Okay. And did you, when you had the blanket, or you call it a blanket, correct?
Yeah, like what you call a tent over your, yeah.
that was the item that ultimately killed her.
Yeah, like I had it over her head.
And have you talked to Enos about any of this?
Okay.
Have you talked to Meigs about any of this?
No.
And that's hand on the Bible. Haven't talked to anybody about it.
No, what was that?
You haven't spoken to anybody. That's not a lot, correct? No one else knows about this.
Not except you. Well, I guess, yeah, somebody else does got those stuff.
Was there a reason you put
Okay, quick pause there. Let me see, where's that question? Mabel S. said, how did law enforcement know that she was dead? Well, the guy that found her had called 911. So, and then the police came out there to investigate. And they saw this is suspicious as hell. This looks like a homicide. So they started investigating. And it took quite some time because they had to question the community. And, you know, most of them had no clue what happened. So it was just difficult, and I think normally they would want to protect each other, right? But in this case, it was just, they just did their best with the information they had, and they were just waiting for the autopsy results. And the preliminary autopsy results were inconclusive. So that didn't help that much either. So the police worked really hard. But yeah, the police went out there, and that's how they knew, because the community had called 911. I think, but in particular, it was the guy that found Rosanna's body. Okay.
Mostly I just put it on, like, she kind of just closed her eyes, and then I just put it on her, and I didn't think what we could have, like, and she didn't move, right, which I put it there, she probably didn't. And I kind of put it on her, she was closing her eyes, I thought she probably didn't want to look.
Why do you think she closed her eyes?
Well, I kind of figured she didn't want to look to see what all I'm doing or stuff like that is what was guessed.
Did she seem scared?
I don't, not that I know of. I mean, she didn't, like...
What did you say to her when, like, you initiated trying to read her?
Like, I'm trying to get there. You're saying, like, when...
Like, did you force me? Did you force her onto the bed? Or did you hold her hands down? Does that make sense?
No. She laid down there. Then, when I was down on the roller, that's when I noticed that, she actually...
Okay.
What did you say to her when you walked into the house?
When I walked into the house, I said, good evening. And then she said, good evening, too. She was back to me. Mm-hmm. And then from there on, she didn't say anything.
Did she ask you why you were there?
She asked what I wanted.
Mm-hmm. What did you tell her?
I just told her what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. And she went back to her bedroom.
What was that? What were you thinking?
No, breathing.
Like, you said, I want to breathe you.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So, not quite those same words, but yeah.
What did you say? Do you remember?
Well, it's a different language and what, but it would mean the same thing, yeah.
So you spoke it
In my language, yeah.
Okay.
Good. And
So for anyone just joining now, the guy in the orange jail jumpsuit is 18-year-old Samuel Hochstetler, and he's accused of murdering a 28-year-old Amish woman, Rosanna Kinsinger. And we're listening to what he told the police, where he confessed to what he did. And yet this hearing is a motions hearing where his defense wants that confession retracted. Like, as in not part of the trial, not part of the case. They want that thrown out because he says that because his primary language is Pennsylvania Dutch, or as people in chat have said, it's Pennsylvania Deutsch, which is actually German, more like German. If that's his primary language, then the defense attorney is claiming that he didn't understand when they read him his Miranda rights twice, what he was really doing, how he was confessing. He didn't understand what was going on, so they just want the whole confession thrown out. But it's a very detailed confession, don't you think? Please like and share so that others can know that we are live right now. Share this on X, Facebook, wherever you can, so that people can see and come and join us here as we watch these snippets from the motion hearing.
How long were you at her house before the reading started?
No. Wasn't real long. I was maybe a couple of years.
Did you eat or drink anything? Okay.
When did you decide that you were going to do this?
It was that evening.
Like when you guys were working on that greenhouse?
Yeah.
You decided that you wanted to get over there?
But like I said, I did decide to kill her.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't take it off that I did or anything because that's just the way I did it.
How long was the blanket over her head?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know what time it was when I put it on.
It was a while. Did you leave any underwear behind? Like undergarments?
I left mine there.
The first mention of God came from Samuel, correct?
Correct.
You know the Amish community to be people of faith, correct?
Yes.
And you know the Amish people to be people who believe in a concept of forgiveness, correct?
Yes.
Perhaps even more so than what we do in the, as they would call it, the English community. Is that fair to say?
Right. I'm not familiar with the Amish community in its entirety, but
Okay.
Sure.
In the English community, as they would describe the community outside the Amish community, we don't always have a concept of forgiveness very strong, do we?
I don't know, sir.
I'm sorry?
I said I don't know.
So this would be the defense attorney, I would assume, direct examination of the witness, who I think is Detective Sergeant Jason Dyer, just asking about that police interview, right? And fighting for his client to say, well, that confession needs to be thrown out.
Particularly in the court system, we don't forgive things. We prosecute, we get convictions, and we get punishment, correct?
Correct.
That's the way the criminal justice system works, correct?
Correct.
Well, you're not familiar with the Amish system, but they do have a stronger, your understanding from the investigation in this case, a stronger concept of forgiveness if one confesses their sin and repents of their sin, correct?
Sure.
You learned that through the interrogation with Samuel, correct, or the interview, correct?
If that's how, I don't, ask the question again, I'm sorry.
Said you learned that there was a concept of forgiveness among the Amish community, or within the Amish community, from your interviews of other people in this case, as well as the interview that you conducted of Samuel Hochstetler on May the 5th of 2025, correct?
From their perspectives, yes.
Yes, and that's what I was asking. From their perspective, you're aware that they have a greater concept of forgiveness if one repents of their sins, confesses their sins, and asks forgiveness, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. You asked him if he understood the concept of cooperation, right?
Did.
And he said, well, I think I do, correct?
Yes.
And you said something along the lines of, at about 6 minutes and 15 seconds into the recording, through about 6 minutes and 42 seconds into the recording, I don't want to relate it to church, but then you did relate it to church, correct?
Yes.
And what we're talking about when we're talking about it is the way things work in the criminal justice system, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And you said that you don't want to say in terms of paying for your sins, but you were drawing that parallel to the Amish concept of repentance and confession of sins to what occurs in the criminal justice system, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that we have a better outcome if you admit your sins in the Amish community. That was your understanding, and you were sharing that understanding with him, correct?
Yes.
And you said that the parallel would be drawn to the criminal justice system as well. That if you admit your sins or admit your offenses or crimes, as we would term in the criminal justice system, that you get a better outcome. Is that fair to say that you said that?
Yes, in that type of context, yes.
Okay.
Well, not in that exact context, I guess. Yes.
Okay, but you were drawing a parallel between the Amish concept of confession, repentance, and asking for forgiveness and having better outcomes in the criminal justice system if you admit your crimes, correct?
Yes.
How can you say you know or you believe him to have understood those rights when you didn't ask him to give an explanation of those rights to you so that you could confirm his understanding, and you know that he had been given inaccurate explanations of the rights, particularly in the context of, well, if you tell the truth, you'll be forgiven?
Sure. I believe I did ask him. I asked him if he understood each and every right. He verbally stated yes, and then I followed up with if you make sure if you have any questions about these rights, to make sure you ask.
You didn't ask him to explain those rights back to you, did you?
I don't have to.
And
No.
well, you don't have to, but if you want to understand whether or not he understands them, don't you think that would be a good practice to follow?
I don't know.
Is this Dye Road?
Yes.
Okay. And
Okay, so we had 18 minutes out of our 48-minute footage that I put together for us. And so this is now body cam from it says 5th of the 5th, 2025. So that's in May, you know? The murder happened March 12th of 2025. So it took some time, as I say, for the police to gather tips, to get that investigation going, to wait for the autopsy results and all of that. Okay, thank you so much all for being here. It's great to see you all in chat. New faces, familiar faces, everybody. I really appreciate you all being here to follow up on this case with me. You know, if you missed the deep dive, part 1 is linked in the description box below. But we did do a recap at the beginning of this episode, so you could also just watch that.
there was a lag time in the audio. Is that common with
Yes.
body cam? Okay. And do you know who's pictured here?
They're to the right here, I believe that's Enos.
Okay. And then eventually, do we see you?
We should. That's my vehicle to the left.
Okay. Okay, and who do we see now?
That is Deputy Spiker and myself.
Okay. And so, since Deputy Fletcher was there, would this be his body cam?
Yes, that
and
is
this
his
is a
body
fair
cam.
and accurate copy of his body cam?
Yes.
And that's you in the red shirt?
Yes.
And is that Enos up there by the trailer?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, and who do we see now?
That is Enos and Samuel.
Okay. Samuel.
So this would be Samuel Hochstetler, who was arrested on this day, actually. That would be the importance of the day as well. Let me just triple check my own. Yeah, May 5th, 2025, Samuel Hochstetler was arrested. And you've seen his picture multiple times, right? Especially in the presentation. There you could see him as he was pictured in the mugshot. Okay.
Is on the
right, in the gray.
Okay.
How you doing? So we got a warrant for your DNA. Okay, so just get right back to you guys for office. And we'll talk today and stuff like that. All right? Okay, good. All right. Just hop in there with him. I'll give you guys back to you. You ready? Let's put that in the class.
Okay, so is that the extent of that video?
Yes.
Was Mr. Hochstetler placed in handcuffs?
No, I wasn't.
Were you present when he got out of the vehicle?
I was at the sheriff's office, yes.
Okay, did you see him get out of the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, was he in handcuffs when he got out of the vehicle?
No, he wasn't.
At any time,
It looked like he had his head down there. I mean, in the courtroom, it just Is he ashamed for a moment there? Are we seeing some emotion? Stefan says he had a different hat on here. Is it a different hat? It does look a little different, hey. Let's quickly have a look at this. Hold on. We shall have a look here quickly. Let's go like this. On our presentation. Where is he? There. Yeah. Look, it could be this. It could be the same hat, not? Oh my word. So this is from his mugshot, this picture that I have here. And yeah, he was arrested on this day. Okay, so let's continue on here.
Okay, so is that the extent of that video?
Yes.
Was Mr. Hochstetler placed in handcuffs?
No, I wasn't.
Were you present when he got out of the vehicle?
I was at the sheriff's office, yes.
Okay, did you see him get out of the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, was he in handcuffs when he got out of the vehicle?
No, he wasn't.
At any time between this encounter and the conclusion of his interview, was he placed in handcuffs?
No, he was not.
And did you drive in front of the sheriff's cruiser or behind of it?
In front, I believe.
Okay. Was there a reason that you placed Mr. Hochstetler in the sheriff's cruiser as opposed to in your vehicle?
I don't let civilians in my vehicle.
I'm sorry.
I don't let civilians in my vehicle due to the nature of my work.
Thank you.
And
Quick pause. Vicky Lane said this was called into police. So Amish do know right from wrong and what needs to be reported. Absolutely. And you said, I've been around Amish all my life. Yes. So they did. They called the police. And the police came out and did this whole investigation. And there sits 18-year-old Samuel Hochstetler facing very serious charges. Aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, strangulation, SA charges, kidnapping as well. Stefan said, maybe he was chewing on that hat during the drive to the jail. I think so. I think so as well.
at this point, was he in custody?
No.
Was he free to have told you that he did not want to go to the sheriff's office?
Yes.
Was the reason why you took him to the sheriff's office to conduct the DNA swabbing as opposed to doing it at that place on Dye Road?
Yes, so we could also speak to Samuel.
Come on up, Mr. Hochstetler.
So, while I wish we had the entire hearing, like from start to finish, we don't have that. I pulled this from what Court TV has provided in the clips that they were making commentary on, just so that you know, why is it like such a jump, right? Did the best I could to gather what I could so that we could see as much of this as possible. I think we are seeing the important bits, and of course now we're going to see him take the stand. Yes. And if you missed it in the beginning, the judge has to decide on this motion by October 22nd of 2025. And so we'll go over the dates again. Mainly, we want to know what's going to happen on October 22nd. Is this confession in or out? There's another pretrial hearing in November, and then his trial date is set for December 8th of 2025.
Before you step up there, please turn towards me and raise your right hand. Your right hand. There you go. That's right. Do you hereby swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you God?
I'll say the truth. I can't swear because the Bible don't let me, but I will say the truth.
That's fine. And that's why I say swear or affirm. So do you affirm that and promise you'll tell the truth?
I affirm.
Okay, then go ahead and have a seat.
Sir. So you can't say truth because the Bible says you can't swear. Okay, but it also says, thou shalt not kill. How about that? How about that? Like, oh my goodness. I understand why he's saying that, but still, dude, literally read the room. Do you know what you're here for? The way he walked up to that stand as well, it's like, oh, okay, fine. I'll say something, right? It wasn't like, I don't know how I would describe that. It was just like dragging his feet along as if it's like, come on. You got to get up early now. It's your turn to do the dishes. That's how he was walking, right? My goodness. Okay, so here we go. Somebody says, wait, did he have a translator for the swearing in? No, he did not. Okay, here we go.
You can move this as you need. Okay. And for the record, these all questioning is pursuant to our earlier conversation, David, that we limit to the discussion of the Miranda rights and what his understanding was to that, or his understanding as to whether or not he was in custody, as opposed to statements that he made, which may or may not have been incriminating.
And that was my understanding, room is yours as well?
Yes, sir.
Family. Okay, with that, you ready to go?
All right. Samuel, please state your name loud and clear, first name and last name for the record.
Samuel Hochstetler.
You may need to be a little bold.
Samuel Hochstetler.
You could even pull the microphone.
All right.
So you actually talk directly into that.
All right.
Yeah, real close.
Okay. And you've listened to the testimony we've had today
Yes.
from Lieutenant Campbell and Sergeant Tracy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were obviously present on May the 5th, 2025 out on Dye Road.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What were you doing on that day prior to the arrival of law enforcement?
Day before
That day,
that day,
on May the 5th.
I was working on a
prior to
building.
their arrival.
I was working on I was either doing the outside of the building or doing something that everybody was supposed to put lumber on it.
Okay, you still might want to pull that a little closer to your mouth.
Shame. Okay, it's like, we can't hear you, so please speak into the microphone. Okay, I think we can hear him. But yeah, rather speak loudly for the court reporter and everybody. They're talking about May 5th of 2025. That's the day of the body cam that we just saw a little bit of, and the day that he was arrested. The murder happened on March 12th of 2025. And it was 28-year-old Rosanna Kinsinger who was murdered. And they say strangled and sexually assaulted. Okay, so let's quickly go like this.
And speak up.
Directly into it and speak.
Yes.
Speak
Just
loud.
project your voice like you're yelling at somebody at a work
And
site.
pretend I'm in the back corner of the room. Okay? Say okay in that manner.
Okay.
That's better.
That's better. Thank you. All right. And when they arrived, how were you made aware of their presence?
Enos made a motion me to come over there towards him when he was up there by the trailer.
And what did you do at that point?
I walked over to him.
When you walked over there, who did you see, if you know?
Seen Enos there and the cops. I didn't know who it was.
Okay. How many law enforcement officers were there?
There were two, was vests on, and then one of the detectives.
Okay. So when you say there were two with vests on, are you speaking of deputies being in uniform?
Yes.
And then one detective, and how would you know that they were a detective as opposed to a uniformed officer?
Well, he had talked to me before, and I almost knew I had seen him before. I wasn't quite sure, but I thought that's who it was.
Okay, when you say him before, have you seen him in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And who was that?
Not Lieutenant,
We've had Lieutenant Campbell and
Sergeant. It was Sergeant Tracy.
Sergeant Tracy?
Yes.
And in the video that we saw, a minute and a half or whatever it was when they came, and on May the 5th, which one was Sergeant Tracy?
The one in the red shirt.
The one in the red shirt?
Yes.
And when you approached him, what, if anything, did he say to you?
Somebody asked me how I was doing. One of them, I can't remember which one, and then he said they had a warrant for my search warrant or warrant for my DNA.
Okay, say that again, only louder. What did they tell you in your
He said that they had a search warrant, either set a warrant or a search warrant for my DNA.
Okay, when you say they said a warrant or a search warrant, were you able to hear the video when it was played?
Yes.
What in fact was said, not based on your record?
He said a warrant.
Today, a warrant.
Yes, for my DNA.
For your DNA.
Yes.
Okay. What else, if anything, did he say to you?
He asked if I would go with them in a cruiser to go to the police station.
What was your understanding of the purpose for going to the sheriff's office or the police station, as you described?
DNA. I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know what was. What was?
He said they want to do a swap for DNA, so I didn't know what he was going to do, what he needed.
Did you know what DNA was or what a DNA swab process would be?
No.
Was that ever explained to you before arriving at the sheriff's office?
No.
Was it explained to you upon your arrival at the sheriff's office?
After we was up in the room, he said they're going to take these Q-tips and swap me. That's the only time.
Okay, but I'm speaking of when you first arrived at the sheriff's office. Was it explained?
So it's swab with a B. I see the subtitles have a P in it. Okay, so swabbing, buckle swab time. That's what he was getting.
Explain to you what the process for the DNA swabbing would be.
No.
You got into the seat in which you rode to the sheriff's office.
One of them opened the door and motioned me to go sit there, and then they closed it.
Be as specific as you can. One of them being one of whom?
One of the ones was the vessel that drove the vehicle.
One of the uniformed deputies?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Again,
The other one had already left back towards this vehicle.
the other one being, again, Sergeant Tracy?
Sergeant Tracy, yes.
Okay.
He looks like he follows very well, right? He's understanding all of this. Somebody asked, where is it? I think it was Stay Awesome. Grizzly, why would he recognize the detective? Because they'd been there multiple times over the 2 months that they were investigating. You know, this homicide that they thought it was, waiting for the autopsy results, and then when they got that, it was inconclusive, but there were signs that this was a homicide. And so they'd been there a few times to speak to the community, to do the investigation, to try to gather, you know, tips, leads, anything like that. So when he says, I recognize him, well, that's why, right? And it's also not, the detective would not be one of the 30 that live in that small, tight-knit Amish community.
So when you got in the vehicle, how was the door open?
When I got back out,
No, when you got in.
one of the police officers in the vest, sheriffs, opened the door, and then I went in. He motioned me to go in, and then I sat on the seat, and then one of them closed it again.
Okay, so you didn't close the door.
No, I didn't touch the door.
Try to open it at any point in time.
No, I didn't touch anything.
Okay. And then what happened next?
They started driving, went in their seats, and then they started driving down the road.
Okay. What was your understanding in terms of your purpose for going to the sheriff's office and how long you might be there, if you had any understanding at all about that?
All I knew was they wanted to do DNA, and I didn't know. I just figured I'd be back just in a couple minutes. I didn't know.
Okay. Do you have a driver's license?
No.
Have you had any interaction with law enforcement prior to this day?
Only the closest I've been to law enforcement is maybe walk by them, or one of our drivers got pulled over once, and I heard him talk, but I've never had a reaction like me and them.
Okay, when you say one of your drivers, what do you mean one of your drivers? Is that an Amish person?
No.
English person, or?
It's an English driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone not in the Amish community or in the Amish community?
Not in the Amish community. He just drives for the Amish.
On this day, was there a vehicle?
Okay, so just a quick pause there. He's again talking about May 5th of 2025 when he was arrested. And I guess, yeah, he's like, you might as well say, I've never been interrogated before. Damn. Yeah, because that day, I mean, he didn't even really have to be interrogated because he just told them everything. And a lot of you guys are saying, I mean, of course, they know right from wrong. You know, of course he would know. You can't kill someone. That would be part of the faith, part of the whole belief system as well. It's there. He would know that that's wrong. So even if, as he claims, he didn't think it would go that far, he didn't think that he would actually kill the victim. Well, then there's also the sexual assault. That's what he's been charged with as well. Okay, but then when you did realize that she's no longer alive, you just walked away, just went back home, which was not far, like right across the street, but you went back home and just, you know, carried on the next day as you would. You didn't then say anything to anyone. He did say that he walked outside, he could barely stand up, and he was praying. So I don't know, but you didn't tell anyone. You just wanted to leave the victim there, dead in her trailer. I mean, that's really heartless, no matter what one's belief system is. Shame, poor Rosanna. Okay, so.
Available to you to drive?
No.
And if you did have a vehicle, would you have been able to drive it?
Not without a driver's license.
Okay. Did anyone follow you to the station in a vehicle, whether a driver or an English driver or an Amish person in a vehicle to take you home?
No.
What was your understanding of how you would get home if you were to be taken home?
I just expected they would take me back.
And when did you expect that to happen? After what occurrence?
I thought we was doing DNA and it'd be right after that.
Okay. So when you got to the sheriff's office, how is it that you exited the back seat of the vehicle?
The one on the passenger side opened the door for me, and then he said I can get out and go over to that door on the front.
Okay. Did you know where you were to go at that point in time?
I did not know where we were. I didn't even know what part of town we were.
What did you do next?
I did what he said and just went to that door.
And you went to that door, by understanding, because he directed you to that door?
Yes, I had no clue where we was going.
Was anyone at that door when you got to that door?
Not that I can recall.
And were either of those deputies in front of you or behind you as you walked to the door?
They were behind me.
As you got to the door, how was the door open?
If I remember right, I don't for sure remember. I think one of them opened it or they told me to open it.
But you don't remember whether you did or whether they did?
No, not on that one, no.
But you're sure that they told you to or they opened it?
They either opened it or they told me to open it.
Okay. And once the door was open, what did you do?
They would ask me to step inside.
Where did you go once you were inside?
There's a chair on the left. When you go right inside the door, there's a chair on the left. I just stood there.
Okay, so Officer Dubecki said, but this hearing is not them saying he didn't do it. They're just saying, they're trying to explain that he didn't understand the Miranda and about having an attorney with you. Absolutely. That is what this hearing is about. It's a motions hearing to try to get the confession that he made to the police thrown out because his defense attorney says he did not understand what, when he was read his Miranda rights apparently twice, that what the consequences would be, that you shouldn't talk to the police without an attorney. That the defense says he thought it would be a good thing to confess to them and that the judge would forgive him and the police would forgive him and he would just go back home, right? That he would tell them everything and then go back home. Well, unfortunately, he's going to learn quite a tough lesson here. That's just not how the law works at all. If you have killed someone and all the other things he's accused of, yeah, you're going to probably spend the rest of your life in prison, of course, if convicted. Christy said, at age 5, Amish kids learn English in school. Now, what is the last word there? Thank you so much for your sticker. I really appreciate that. Okay, we've got about 16 minutes left.
Did they tell you where to sit or just to sit?
I think he said on the side towards the door.
On the side towards the door?
He didn't say it on the side towards the door, but he pointed to that chair.
Okay, and then where did they go? Where did they sit?
So we came in the door, and then I sat here, Lieutenant Campbell here, and Sergeant Tracy were on that end.
And what was your belief or your understanding of what was going to take place once you got up to that room at that point?
I thought we was going to do DNA. I started looking around the room, and I didn't know what they're going to do because I didn't see anything, kind of machines or anything.
And what, in fact, did happen once you got into the room?
The first thing was they started asking questions.
What type of questions did they ask you?
They wanted to know if I had an ID or a social security or something like that, and I didn't.
And how did that make you feel? What were you thinking at that point in time?
I didn't know why they needed that stuff for a DNA. I couldn't understand.
Okay, did you provide them anything in response to that request?
I gave them my hunting numbers.
I'm sorry?
My hunting numbers?
Your hunting numbers?
Yes, that's all I had.
Numbers.
I don't even know them. I just had them on my paper. They're in my wallet.
What numbers are they, but what is that?
It's a number that the Game Commission goes by, I guess, so they can look you up. Like, they can see if I bought a license or if I didn't for hunting.
Okay, so it's fair to say it's kind of like having a license for hunting purposes?
No, it's basically like identification so they can see what I got and what I didn't get.
Okay.
But it's not an ID, not a real ID like you all would have.
All right, and what happened next once they had inquired about any identification that you may or may not have possessed at that point?
They just started asking questions.
And what types of questions do you recall them asking you?
They were just asking about kind of what I know about it, and
Be specific. What you know about what?
all right. So they started asking questions about what I know about Rosanna's death, and
Don't give me what any of your responses were.
Right.
In terms of what their questions were is what I'm asking.
sure.
He follows very well, which is kind of also the point that why people are saying, but he's very smart. He understands, he differentiates between the rank of all the, there's the detective, then there's the sergeant, and then they ask this and they did that. And when the attorney says, okay, but don't tell me what you answer, just let's focus on the questions, right? So he follows everything very well. So now to say, but he didn't follow along that day, he didn't know that he couldn't just speak to the police, the judge will have to decide, does his confession stay or not? I think the police officers explained it pretty well to him, but, he was read his Miranda rights twice. So him just talking and thinking, oh, well, I'll just tell you everything, go home. It's just not how it's going to be. Okay, just didn't get that part. Terry said his attorney is shooting down the lack of understanding of English. Sorry, but not having a degree in the understanding of Miranda is not a defense. He was given a yes or a no answer at the end. Right? So, yeah.
So they were asking me questions about her death, if I know what happened or how it went or stuff like that, and how it would have felt if it was on purpose or not on purpose or stuff like that.
Okay. And at some point in time, were you ever swabbed for DNA?
After almost an hour later, after they were, I didn't know what DNA this was. I didn't know what we're doing for DNA.
Based on the questions they were asking you, and the fact that, again, what was your understanding about the reason you were taken there?
To do DNA.
To do DNA?
Yes.
And based on the questions you were...
It's interesting that this hearing is not to toss out the DNA evidence because that seems to hold more weight. Like, wait, you didn't understand what they were even going to do, right? That they were going to take a buccal swab, that they were going to compare your DNA to the scene and all of that. Like, if that's what they were fighting for, I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe that stands a chance. To say he didn't understand his rights, he seems to understand a whole lot. He's following very well.
They were asking, how did you feel? What were you thinking during that interim between your arrival and the hour later when they swabbed you for DNA?
I knew they wanted something. I didn't know what. I knew they was trying to make me say something that I didn't want to say, and I didn't know what.
Okay. What was your thinking in terms of whether or not you had or would have permission to leave if you chose to?
I never knew that I had permission to leave. They never said I was free to go anytime.
What was your thinking in terms of whether or not you would have permission to leave at any point in time?
Well, I had a thought of leaving, but I didn't think it would be any better because I knew there was 2 cops down there by the door, the only door I knew to exit. I knew I wouldn't make it past them. They had guns on them, everything. I didn't want to get shot and didn't want to get tased.
So did you think you would be permitted to leave or not permitted to leave?
I didn't know I had permission to leave.
Also, they had not a search warrant, he said search warrant, a warrant for his DNA. So it's not like he could refuse it, but he claims he didn't understand, like, how are they going to take this DNA, what's going to happen, why would they take it, and also say, the defense is saying he didn't understand that he shouldn't be confessing the way he did. And I get it. The defense has to try their best to get that confession out because, oh my word, he might as well not even go to trial if that confession's going to be in, because he says everything he did. He says he covered the victim's head with a blanket, that he was breeding with her, and saying things that contradict the evidence, like that she just lay there, she was still silent. No, the evidence shows bruising and fighting back, so unfortunately not. But anyway, we shall see, right? Okay.
A point in time when you were presented with what has been termed as your Miranda rights. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And can you describe how that occurred to the best of your recollection? How did that get initiated and why, if you know?
How I understood it?
How that how that got to be initiated, or why, or when did it become initiated?
I guess after they decided I must be a suspect or something, they read that to me.
Okay. Did they read it to you, or did you read it yourself?
I read a little bit, and then they read a little bit too.
Okay.
I think they read most of it to me.
Did you?
I don't think the police are just going to read a little bit. They're going to read you the Miranda rights, the whole thing. They have to. Not I read a little bit and they read a little bit. That sounds like a lie to me, right?
You have questions about what each item meant.
When I first seen him, I had no idea what it is. I didn't know what it was, what it meant.
Had you ever heard of a person's Miranda rights prior to that moment in time?
No, I didn't know.
Had any, well, I already asked the question about whether you had any prior law enforcement contact. You described it maybe during a traffic stop. Is it through?
Oh, the Miranda?
Yeah. Is that through?
Yep. Sort out.
Okay. Do you recognize what is on the screen before you, Samuel?
Yes.
And what do you understand that to be?
What they call Miranda rights.
Now, you can read the English language, correct?
Yes.
What does it say in bold print in the a couple inches from the top in the center of the form?
Advice of rights. Is that what?
Well, above that, the bold words above that, in the section above that.
I don't know, he's pointing to ask me. Maybe take the mouse.
There?
Or.
No. In the center of the page,
That's
right there.
He just said what it said, but go ahead. Tell him again.
Advice of rights.
Okay. And what's listed below there, they're numbered 1 through 5 with your initials to the left of there. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is your understanding of what those things numbered 1 through 5 are?
When they read it to me or now?
Of what they are, not what they mean.
I guess rights.
What do you believe them to be?
The rights that I was supposed to have.
As a what? Suspect?
As a suspect, I guess, yeah.
Okay. And you feel that you have an understanding of what those rights mean as you sit here today?
Yes.
Do you have the same understanding as you sit here today as you did at the end of the session with Sergeant Tracy and Lieutenant Campbell of what those rights meant?
No.
Why do you have a
Yeah, now he's got a different understanding. He says he's been schooled in the jail. Sure, apparently these other inmates told him what really happened, how it's really going to work. Like, why did you do that? But I think it's also his defense attorney being like, oh man, damn, you confessed to everything? Did you understand everything? So, I mean, this is going to be the best shot to be like, he didn't understand what he was doing by telling all that. Bonjour, Bustos, said the judge is seeing through his BS. Thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. Okay, so.
Different understanding today than you had at that point in time back on May the 5th.
Because of you and being around other inmates that educated me.
Educated you in the sense that what?
Of what my rights were. You told me what the rights are.
Okay, and other inmates?
And they told me what the rights are and to stand for my rights.
And how would you say your understanding of what those rights meant on May the 5th differ from what you understand today? What was your understanding of those rights on May the 5th?
On May the 5th, I was going home that evening. I had never expected to be where I am now.
Can you read that, number one?
I have to.
Like he really thought he's just going home that evening. Okay, well, nice talking to you police officers. Glad I told you all that. Yep, definitely killed her. This is how I did it. Okay, so can I go home now? And they're like, oh no, look at these silver bracelets. He's like, what's that? Yeah, and now look at all these charges as well. So I wonder if that's true. Did he really think that he could just confess to everything right then and there to the police and not be arrested? Like he thought that's how it works or what? Oh my goodness.
Right to remain silent.
What did that mean to you on May the 5th?
I didn't have to say anything.
Okay. And then as far as number 2,
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
okay. Now, we listened today, you had some questions about that particular one,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And what were those questions? What did you or did you not understand about that particular right on May the 5th?
I didn't know what a court was, and I didn't know what it meant by getting used against me on a court of law or anything.
Okay. And in the explanations that we heard given today, through the playing of, what was it, State's Exhibit 2 and 3, or no? 1 and 2. And through the testimony of particularly Lieutenant Campbell and Sergeant Tracy, is your understanding different today because of what I told you or because of what other inmates told you than from what Lieutenant Campbell and Sergeant Tracy told you?
It is different from what Lieutenant and Campbell and Sergeant Tracy has told me is what I know now.
Okay. What did you believe was going to happen that day at any point in time when they would have ceased questioning you? At that time, what did you believe would happen?
I thought we was going to go see a judge, and I was going to have to tell him what I did. And
why did you believe you were going to see a judge?
That's what he told me.
That's what who told you?
Lieutenant Campbell.
Okay. And what did he tell you you would need to do before the judge?
I'd tell him what I do and what I did, and then the judge, that's what the judge would forgive me for.
Okay, so what did you think the judge would do if you told them certain things? And again, I'm not asking you what you said at any point in time, but what did you think if you went before a judge and you made certain statements, what did you think would happen?
I thought I was going to be forgiven by the judge and go home. That's what I thought.
I'm not sure if that's exactly what the police said. We'd have to hear the whole thing. There was just some of it played, of course, that we heard it as part of this hearing. But I feel like the police officer was saying, well, yeah, okay, you know, if you confess that you could be forgiven by God, okay, which in this faith would be the ultimate judge, but not like the judge in court. I don't know about that. What do you guys think? He thought he could just like, oh, I'm going to go to a court of law. All right. And then I'm just going to confess to the judge and I'll be forgiven. I'm just going to go home. Like, my goodness. Did no one, surely in any community, they know if you break the law or like, you know, if you kill someone, you're going to face consequences, right? Oh my goodness. He's just making like, I don't know. I thought I'm just going to pack up and go home.
Did you appear before a judge that day?
No.
Were you forgiven and did you go home that day?
No. And I'm still not.
Oh, wow. That look on his face right there. And I'm still not. He looked a little bit like Megan Boswell right there and there. Yeah, I'm still not, okay? Still waiting for that forgiveness and to go home. No idea what I'm doing here. Okay, well, now you're part of the court process where you're going to face consequences for allegedly murdering a 28-year-old lovely woman, Rosanna, who deserved to live. You know? And so, yeah, did you see? I mean, just look at it. Well, we'll go a few seconds back here. Look at his face here.
Judge that day?
No.
Were you forgiven and did you go home that day?
No. And I'm still not.
Oh, my word. He feels entitled to that forgiveness and to being able to go home. Like he really, it's almost like, oh, I'm still not. Still just waiting to be sent home. Oh, my word, that's just not how it works.
What led you to believe that you would go before a judge and be forgiven and be able to go home?
I have always believed and trusted in the authorities, but now I don't.
He wasn't going to say cops. Always trusted and believed in the cops, I mean authorities, but now I do not. Oh, because now you're going to pay the price for allegedly murdering someone? What about the whole no sex before marriage thing? How are you going to get around that? Because, yeah, you went there to breed with the victim, is what you said. How? You're not married? What do you mean? You can't do that? No sex before marriage? And you also cannot kill people? Well, you also can't lie. And you kept that secret to yourself, which is like lying.
You had indicated earlier that you thought of leaving the sheriff's office, but you didn't want to leave because you thought you might get tased. Is that correct?
That was just one thing that I knew that if they want to catch me, that I would.
How do you know about a taser?
Because I know that's what cops carry.
How do you know that?
I knew they carried tasers and guns.
Okay, but how did you come to learn that?
Just was other people what they tell me about them.
See, so other people did tell you about police officers, consequences of the law, can't kill someone, can't essay someone. Or how do you know what a taser is? Yeah, you busted. You see him there? It's cornered now. The state's asking questions. How do you know what a taser is? Because he just said it out there. Look at him. He almost looks like he knows. Oh, crap. I said taser, didn't I? Yeah, you did. Sure got knowledge about that. Okay.
When was this?
Somewhere in Kentucky.
Okay.
This one, it didn't come from cops.
Okay. So did you have contact with law enforcement officers in Kentucky?
That's where I was when my driver got pulled over while we was going on a trip.
Okay. Did the officer talk to you at that time?
Not to me.
Okay.
Just to the driver.
Okay. As it relates to this case, though, you did have contact with law enforcement officers before May 5th, correct?
Detectives.
Right.
That's the only. I just talked to him maybe, I don't know, 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
Okay. And you knew that they had questions regarding the circumstances surrounding Rosanna's death?
That's what all they asked me was if I know anything about it.
Okay. And isn't that essentially what they were asking?
And you did know a lot, didn't you? How do you know? Because you said you literally killed her. Dude, I hope that confession does not get thrown out. Bo Bangela says 10 commandments are a thing. Yes? I like the way you word that. They're a thing. Yeah. Yes? He's like, wait, what? Yeah, he would know.
Asking you on May 5th?
Not just that. They asked me further questions.
At the beginning of the conversation. That's essentially what...
That's what they started out with, yes.
Sure. So you weren't surprised because you'd already been through that, correct?
What did they ask me?
You weren't surprised, yes or no?
I was surprised that they're asking me questions about that. I thought we was doing DNA, that's all. I didn't know that was what we was gonna have for DNA.
Sure. Okay, and just so we're all clear, you do understand English perfectly fine, correct?
I think for the most part.
Okay. And
every now and then I have a little question with some of the big words.
Sure. I don't use big words usually. So if you don't understand something I'm saying or how I'm saying something, just let me know and I'll rephrase it, okay?
Yes.
Have you heard anything today that you didn't understand?
I don't think so.
Okay. When law enforcement showed up on Dye Road, did you tell them that you did not want to give your DNA?
No, I didn't know better.
Okay. At any time, did you tell them that you didn't want to give your DNA?
No.
Okay. When you were placed in the cruiser, did you tell them that?
Not that he would have had a choice, because they had a warrant. So they were going to buckle swab him either way. But still, it's like, I don't know that I had a right to refuse that. Okay.
You did not want to get into the cruiser?
No, I didn't know better.
Okay. Did you tell them that you wanted out of the cruiser?
No.
When you got to the sheriff's office, did you tell law enforcement officers that you did not want to go to the sheriff's office?
No.
When you were in the sheriff's office, did you tell them that you wanted to leave?
No. I didn't know I could.
When law enforcement was on Dye Road, they did not place you in handcuffs, correct?
No.
And they did not place you in handcuffs while you're in the cruiser?
No.
And before the interview, you were not placed in handcuffs, correct?
No.
When you had indicated during the interview or at some point when you're at the sheriff's office that you thought of leaving, did you tell anybody that?
No.
You understood most of what Lieutenant Campbell and Sergeant Tracy were telling you that day, correct?
The way they explained it, I did understand it, but not to what the rights meant.
You say you did or did not?
I did to the way they explained it, but not to what the rights meant, what the rights stand for.
But they said you have the right to remain silent. Okay, but you did not remain silent. You confessed to everything. That's on you. But okay, let's see. If your defense attorney gets a right to get this confession out, that'll be a big win for the defense.
Okay, so everything that they told you on that day about those rights, you understood at that time.
At that time, how they related it to me.
But you're just saying that.
I understand them now the way that they're actually supposed to be understood.
Okay, based upon what your attorney told you.
That and the inmates, yes.
Okay. You think that's different from what?
It's way different, yes.
But they told you you have the right to remain silent, correct?
Right, but I didn't know what that right was, how valuable that right was, and what it.
There we go. I didn't know how valuable that right was. Well, yeah, that's different to not knowing what it is. You have the right to remain silent. And did he remain silent? No. You have the right to an attorney. Didn't get an attorney right on the spot. But now he's talking about the value. Okay, that's a little different, dude. Here we go.
Yes.
But they told you you have the right to remain silent, correct?
Right, but I didn't know what that right was, how valuable that right was, and what it really meant.
Okay.
On the May 5th.
Okay. Regardless of how valuable in your mind you thought that right was, you knew that you had that right not to say a single word, correct?
Yes, but I didn't know why not to talk.
Okay. Well, you decided to talk because you thought it was the right thing to do, right?
Yes, that's out of respect, yes.
Sure. But it does not negate the fact that they told you that right, you read that right, and you signed off on that right, correct?
Yes.
So when he read a little bit and then the police read him everything else, yeah, they would need him to read a little bit so they can make sure he's understanding what's going on, and he would have to sign that as well. So he didn't understand how valuable, that's very different. Yeah, KK said understanding value and understanding meaning is different. That's so different. I'm so glad he said that, like on the record. Well, I don't know the value of it. Well, yeah, because the attorney your defense attorney just told you, dude, you should have just stayed quiet. Don't you know the value of silence? In that scenario, you're screwed. Now we're going to have to try and get this confession out. Right. Yeah, I think he messed up there by saying that, right?
And throughout the process, when they were reading your rights and you were reading the rights yourself, you did have some questions, right?
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't ask them about remaining silent as far as the value of that right, correct?
Well, I knew what it meant to be silent. I knew it meant not to talk.
Okay.
But I didn't understand it the way I should have.
And you agree that these are your rights, these 5 enumerated rights, these are your rights?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not trying to say that you have rights for further explanation of these, right?
No, I have these 5 rights is what I agree to.
Right, okay.
Okay, and that's it. That's what we have from the hearing. All right, so lastly, just to recap, if you didn't see the beginning of the stream, I hope you'll check it out because we went over an entire recap, a presentation of this Samuel Hochstetler, 18 years old, an Amish man from Rutland, Ohio, facing multiple felony charges, 2 counts of murder, 1 count of aggravated murder, kidnapping, SA as well. All right, so, and we went over this whole timeline. And so the final one, I just want to show you here again. October 22nd is the pre-trial hearing. That's when it's set for at 11 a.m. November 25th of 2025 is the final pre-trial hearing at 11 a.m. And then his jury trial is set so far. We'll see if it changes. Write it in pencil, right? Not in pen yet. We'll have to wait and see. But it is set for trial at 8 a.m. on December 8th of 2025. I don't know if they're going to stream it because they didn't even stream this hearing. This hearing actually took place, I believe, from my research. I was trying to pin down the date because it was only published yesterday on Court TV, just little bits of it. So I was like, okay, well, when is it from? It seems to be from September 23rd of 2025. It wasn't streamed. I wish it was. So I don't know if they're going to stream this at all. Either way, I would like to continue to follow this case. I hope that you will follow it with me as well. If you missed part 1, it's linked in the description box for you. And so let's see what happens from here. I definitely want to see what the judge will decide. based on this confession. You know, is the confession staying in or not? I think it's going to stay. And if it stays, oh man, yeah, he's very screwed. His defense attorney, that will be, what an uphill battle that will be if his confession is allowed in for the trial. Because the jury just has to hear that. Imagine being on the jury and being like, what? But he confessed to like putting a blanket over her head and that he knew she was dead and that he was breeding her, as he called it. Wow, okay. And that he just left when he realized she was no longer alive. And that he's lying when he says that she didn't say or do anything when there's evidence of her fighting for her life. So, yeah, if that confession is in, might as well plead guilty. Might as well. Try to, if there's a plea deal, if ever. There might not be. But yes, Stefan said, I don't think the judge is buying what he's selling. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so either. So the presiding judge, the original judge was Michael Barr, and the presiding judge in the Meigs County Common Pleas Court is Linda R. Warner. And you could just see her face with some of the things like, yeah, okay. So we shall see what the judge decides and go from there. I will put a pinned comment for you if I do find out, if nothing gets streamed, if we can't see anything, just what the decision is, right? So make sure you monitor that as well. YouTube Shorts, the community posts, things like that. Sometimes I keep you posted that way as well. And also on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who's made it over to Patreon. I really appreciate the support. There's also lots of free members on Patreon as well. If you want to be a free Patreon member, you'll get notifications for upcoming YouTube live streams, for example. So I appreciate you all being here, studying this case with me. I hope there will be justice for Rosanna Kinsinger, who was just 28 years old when she was murdered in her trailer with her goat in the trailer, like by her side after she had died. That's how they found her. Oh my word. So, and she was just like making soap and, you know, with the goat's milk and shampoos and products and dreaming of one day becoming a teacher, which she had every right to do, to live her life. So it's just really sad. All right, looking forward to reading your comments. Leave some comments below. Sometimes I respond to them with a little video, which is a YouTube short. So I'm always looking at the comments to see what I can respond to. And I will see you all again very soon. In the meantime, stay safe.